Journeys with HB, Derek, and Nerdy. We're all here today. So, how was everyone? I hope y'all guys are having a great day. We're getting into our Four Agreement Friday. We're gonna finish up the end of the book. I don't think we're actually gonna finish the book, but
yeah, Derek. No, we're not finishing the book.
But we're getting to the finishing the book today, or not today, but
so I think I'm going to have probably 4 more readings in this chapter before we're finished with this chapter.
Okay.
I think there's one more, a little bit after that, like one more reading past that for just finishing off the last chapter would be one more reading. And we can skip that last section that's prayers, but this section that we're in right now starts at page 100, but I'm just going to read the next 5 pages just because it's a good stopping point. And then each of the next 3 Fridays, we're going to go over one of the 3 arts of transformations from what I can see. Unless you guys want to go long today, we can really, it's a lot of reading, but I can go through it all if you want to, just finish this chapter.
What do you think?
It'd be like 22 pages worth. It's a doozy.
That's your call. If you do suggest that we do that, we can just break it up and do like 10 pages, have discussion, and read the other 10 pages on.
Tonight. Yeah, it's Friday. Why not?
Cool.
Fill some
We'll do it
time.
like that.
Nice
Cool.
hat, Derek.
Let's do it like that, man. Yep, nice hat, man. You doing the camo thing. Yeah, very hippie, the camo with the tie dye.
You're always changing that right before the show starts. I'm like, there's just no Jesus on your hat this time. Usually there's like Jesus or a cross or something.
Or cross.
Like
He got it. You just forgot to tuck it out. Dang it. Heck yeah.
Let's see. Looks we have 5 people watching already. That's good. We got David here.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
How's it going, Mike Barball?
Cool.
What's up, David? Oh, David. One of my daughter's classmates drew a picture of you. I want you to see this.
Is this the goblin? Oh my gosh, this is great. This is crazy.
There it is. It's Magical David.
That is crazy.
So the kid's name is Nigel, and he turns to my daughter. He's like, "I think your dad's gonna like this. Here, take this with you."
It's supposed to be like a goblin, a wizard.
A wizard with like an AK or something. Oh man, kids. Kids are great. They're funny.
That's impressive. How old is the kid?
14, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Right on. Pretty impressive, man.
Puncher. A mystical.
He's a mystical warrior.
Yep.
See, my question is, if he's got a gun like that, what does he need a book for? What kind of spells does a wizard with a gun
That's the only thing that doesn't really That's the only thing that doesn't really fit David.
More bullets.
Yeah. The book, the gun, or the book?
The spells for more bullets.
Spells for more bullets. Yeah. I'm like, so if he's a wizard with a gun, either the gun is enchanted or the bullets are enchanted. And what enchantment would it have? It's like magic.
So having to do this, you just do this.
Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Yeah, that is talent. Yep. It's the enchanted gun, obviously, he says. Yeah, it's to enchant the gun. That's what the book's for. Yeah. So I'm gonna have my daughter ask him those questions on Monday and see what he says. But obviously, the book's to enchant the gun. Anyway, what's that?
He draws almost everything wizards.
Oh, everything is wizards. Apparently, he's a wizard specialist.
Cool. Him and Magic would get along, man. Can you remind me, refresh my memory, what page we're on?
Page 100. And it'll be the part where it starts, to be Toltec is a way of life.
Perfect.
No,
just do what you feel, man. Go with your gut.
Cool.
Just if you feel like stopping, we stop it or whatever.
I like that idea where we just, read a little bit, stop and discuss, read a little more, stop and discuss. Kind of try to fit like multiple sessions in one day here. But yeah, I may as well get started, huh?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
To be Toltec is a way of life. It is a way of life where there are no leaders and no followers, where you have your own truth and live your own truth. A Toltec becomes wise, becomes wild, and becomes free again. There are 3 masteries that lead people to become Toltec. First, the mastery of awareness. This is to be aware of who we really are, with all the possibilities. The second is the mastery of transformation. How to change, how to be free of domestication. The third is the mastery of intent. Intent, from the Toltec point of view, is the part of life that makes transformation of energy possible. It is the one living being that seamlessly encompasses all energy, or what we call God. Intent is life itself. It is unconditional love. The mastery of intent is therefore the mastery of love. When we talk about the Toltec path to freedom, we find that they have an entire map for breaking free of domestication. They compare the judge, the victim, and the belief system to a parasite that invades the human mind. From the Toltec point of view, All humans are who are domesticated are sick. They are sick because there's a parasite that controls the mind and controls the brain. The food for the parasite is the negative emotions that come from fear. If we look at the description of a parasite, we find that a parasite is a living being who lives off of other living beings, sucking their energy without any useful contribution in return, and hurting their host little by little. The judge, the victim, and the belief system fit this description very well. Together, they comprise a living being made of psychic and emotional energy, and that energy is alive. Of course, it is not material energy, but neither are emotionals material energy. Sorry, I hung up on that one. Our dreams are not material energy either, but we know they exist. One function of the brain is to transform material energy into emotional energy. Our brain is the factory of the emotions. And we have said that the main function of the mind is to dream. The Toltecs believe that the parasite, the judge, the victim, and the belief system, has control of your mind. It controls your personal dream. The parasite dreams through your mind and lives its life through your body. It survives on the emotions that come from fear and thrives on drama and suffering. The freedom we seek is to use our own mind and body to live our own life, instead of the life of the belief system. When we discover that the mind is controlled by the judge and the victim and the real us is in the corner, we have just two choices. One choice is to keep living the way we are, to surrender to the judge and the victim, to keep living in the dream of the planet. The second choice is to do what we do as children when parents try to domesticate us. We can rebel and say no. We can declare a war against the parasite, a war against the judge and the victim, a war for our independence, a war for the right to use our own mind and our own brain. That is why in all the shamanic traditions in America, from Canada to Argentina, people call themselves warriors because they are in a war against the parasite in the mind. That is the real meaning of a warrior. A warrior is one who rebels against the invasion of the parasite. The warrior rebels and declares a war. But to be a warrior doesn't mean we always win the war. We may win or we may lose, but we always do our best, and at least we have a chance to be free again. Choosing this path gives us, at the very least, the dignity of rebellion. It ensures that we will not be the helpless victim of our own whimsical emotions or the poisonous emotions of others. Even if we succumb to the enemy, the parasite, we will not be among those victims who would not fight back. At best, being a warrior gives us an opportunity to transcend the dream of the planet and to change our personal dream to a dream that we call heaven. Just like hell, heaven is a place that exists within our mind. If it is a place, it is a place of joy, a place where we are happy, where we are free to love and be who we really are. We can reach heaven while we are alive. We don't have to wait until we die. God is always present, and the kingdom of heaven is everywhere. But first, we need to have the eyes and ears to see and hear that truth. We need to be free of the parasite. The parasite can be compared to a monster with 1,000 heads, or the gremlin, as we like to say. Every head of the parasite is one of the fears that we have. If we want to be free, we have to destroy the parasite. One solution is to attack the parasite head by head, which means we face each of our fears one by one. This is a slow process, but it works. Every time we face one of the fears, we are a little more free. A second approach is to stop feeding the parasite. If we don't give the parasite any food, we kill the parasite by starvation. To do this, we have to gain control of our emotions. We have to refrain from fueling the emotions that come from fear. This is easy to say, but it is very difficult to do. It is difficult because the judge and the victim control our mind. A third solution is called the initiation of the dead. The initiation of the dead is found in many traditions and esoteric schools around the world. We find it in Egypt, India, Greece, and America. This is a symbolic death which kills the parasite without harming our physical body. When we die, symbolically, the parasite has to die. This is faster than the first two solutions, but it is even more difficult to do. We need a great deal of courage to face the angel of death. We need to be very strong. And it says, let's take a closer look at each of these solutions. And I'm going to stop there because it breaks down each of these solutions a little bit at a time. And I'll go ahead and go into those. But what do you guys think of that section there about the warrior and the different approaches?
I got a few things here. I also have a video I'll play after I'm speaking here, but
Sweet.
It says that let me just find where I was earlier. Sorry. There are three masteries that lead to people to become Toltecs. The first mastery is awareness. Obviously, we talk about that a lot, about how you have to be aware to be able to change your problems. But it says that if you look at the description of a parasite, we find that the parasite is a living being who feeds off of other living beings, sucking their energy without useful contribution in return and hurting their host little by little. The judge, the victim, and the belief system fit the description very well. So basically, what the video I have here is about how, we talked about this with the Bojack thing, about how people fetishize their own sadness. They really crave being sad and depressed and lonely and caught up in drama and everything like that. But then yet they can't figure out quite why their life's always in shambles, because it's kind of a crazy thing for somebody to admit that they're the reason why they're causing their own suffering.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I was just saying right there. But I have one more part here. The warrior rebels and declares war, but to be a warrior doesn't mean we always win the war. We may win or we may lose, but we always do our best, and at least we have a chance to be free again. Reminds me a lot of what we were reading about in the Bhagavad Gita. Doing things with our karma yoga, acting on our passions and everything we do in life without an expectation of the results by the end of it.
Right.
It's the way we should be, and it's the way how we live our best. Derek, I'll let you go ahead. I'm gonna get this video uploaded for you guys.
All right. Yeah, I just think it says parasite. And to me, that always makes me think of things that we eat, and it's not just when in our mouths, but like what we mentally consume too. Because that's a parasite in your head, and then that causes those negative thoughts and things that defeat us. So, it's difficult to not get caught up in negative stuff, like and be in hell, but we can have our own heaven, like it says, by killing that parasite, not feeding it, and doing our best.
Yeah, and I'll start with awareness too.
Absolutely.
There was that very first paragraph I read in this section. It really, really resonates with me because it's really what I truly, truly believe. Like, this is what I've taken in to try to create this, what we're doing here. It's a way to be Toltec is a way of life, where there are no leaders and no followers, where you have your own truth and live your own truth. Toltec becomes wise, becomes wild, it becomes free again. And that's our goal, I think. And we can, you can experience heaven on earth right now. You just got to put your mind to it with your intent.
Yes, sir. Hey, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I noticed yesterday this new glitch popped up whenever we were on here, and I'm not able to add videos or pictures.
Sure.
So can you do that for me?
What video?
Add that last video, the very last one that's in there.
You uploaded it.
Very top one. It's the Steve Burns one. Yeah, I just put it in there, so that should be good to go. kind of speaks to the idea of fetishizing your status. No, sir. It'll have March 5th on there as the current date. So a minute and 5 seconds.
So,
It'll say the Roxy on it, I think. Yeah.
I remember one night, I think it was in Seattle or whatever city.
That might not
I'm
be the right
thinking,
one.
I don't
No,
wanna-
it's
I
not
don't
the
wanna
right
phone
one.
tonight. I'm
Okay,
tired,
hold on.
But then
No, sorry.
all right, replace new video. So that was the only one that was 1 minute and 5 seconds. And
Yeah,
there's
it
two other
didn't.
ones
It
for
didn't
black and
upload.
white.
That's the issue. So yeah, give it just a second here. It'll be up there.
You can only have 5 recordings, and we have 5 up right now. I don't think any of these is it.
No. Give it just like 30 seconds and it should be uploaded. It's processing now. Yeah, that's one of my riffing with HP clips. But I deleted one to make room for it. So
So it looks like all these are prof
there you go.
videos.
Yep, just uploaded right now.
Okay.
It's Steve in a yellow hat. But yeah, anyway, the reason I bring this clip up, I think it's important. It speaks to what I was talking about, people fetishizing their sadness.
I'm still not seeing it. It's just 5 prof videos. We only can now have 5 videos, and I don't think it's going to show it to me until we delete some.
Yeah, I did.
Hold up. Technical difficulties, guys. All right.
Yeah, I did delete some to put it on there. It should be on.
Let's see.
It shows on mine that it's uploaded.
I might have to log out and log back in or something like that because it's still showing me those 5 old ones.
Okay, I could just play it like this. Let's just do it like this.
All right. Oh yeah, man, that's a good one. Is this from the most recent one?
Yes.
Nice.
Lyrics.
Great podcast too, if you guys want to catch it.
Yes.
That's just who I am. And this is
Yeah.
me.
You start writing poetry and like music lyrics that were just real heavy.
Oh, I sure did. I made a whole album. I released a rock and roll album full of some pretty dark songs.
Exactly.
But I was convincing myself that this wasn't a problem, that I didn't have to deal with it. That, it's just a little harder for me because I'm sensitive and I have these feelings, man. And it was this way of identifying with unnecessary hardship and unnecessary things so that I wouldn't have to deal with them. It was the same as drinking, 2 bottles of wine or something. I'm just a dark soul.
It's a really good episode. That whole episode.
And part of like learning how to grow up and mature emotionally is accepting that, hey, maybe I'm holding myself here. Like these ankles that I have on, I put these things on every morning I get up. Like this is what's holding me down. That's why I'm drowning. All I have to do is like take those weights off. What page were we just on 104, correct?
Oh, we were on 105. The Art of Transformation, the Dream of the Second Attention. Before we move on to that one, I would like to point out that it talked about the initiation of the dead. It sounds an awful lot like an ego death.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you read that.
Though it's not.
When we die, symbolically, the parasite has to die.
The ego death or psychedelics can really, really help you achieve that, but that's not necessarily what it is.
Sure.
All right.
The symbolic death.
I'll go ahead and read the next section. So, the Art of Transformation, the Dream of the Second Attention. We have learned that the dream you are living now is the result of the outside dream hooking your attention and feeding you all of your beliefs. The process of domestication can be called the dream of the first attention, because it was how your attention was used for the first time to create the first dream of your life. One way to change your beliefs is to focus your attention on all of those agreements and beliefs and change the agreements with yourself. In doing this, you are using your attention for the second time, thus creating the dream of the second attention, or the new dream. The difference is that you are no longer innocent. When you were a child, this was not true. You didn't have a choice. But You are no longer a child. Now it's up to you to choose
Yeah.
what to believe and what not to
Preach.
believe. You can choose to believe in anything, and that includes believing in yourself. It's the hardest one. The first step is to become aware of the fog that is in your mind. You must become aware that you are dreaming all the time. Only with awareness do you have the possibility of transforming your dream. If you have the awareness that the whole drama of your life is the result of what you believe, and what you believe is not real, then you can begin to change it. However, to really change your beliefs, you need to focus your attention on what it is that you want to change. You have to know which agreements you want to change before you can change them. So the next step is to develop awareness of all the self-limiting, fear-based beliefs that make you unhappy. You take an inventory of all that you believe, all your agreements, and through this process, you begin the transformation. The Toltecs called this the art of transformation, and it's a whole mastery. You achieve the mastery of transformation by changing the fear-based agreements that make you suffer and reprogramming your own mind in your own way. One of the ways to do this is to explore and adopt alternative beliefs such as the Four Agreements. The decision to adopt the Four Agreements is a declaration of war to regain your freedom from the parasite. The Four Agreements offer the possibility of ending the emotional pain, which can open the door for you to enjoy your life and begin a new dream. It's up to you to explore the possibilities of your dream, if you're interested. The Four Agreements were created to assist you in the art of transformation, to help you break the limiting agreements, gain more personal power, and become stronger. The stronger you get, the more agreements you can break until the moment comes when you make it to the core of all those agreements. Going to the core of all those agreements is what I call going into the desert. When you go into the desert, you meet your demons face to face. After coming out of the desert, all those demons become angels. Practicing the four new agreements is a big act of power. Breaking the spell of black magic in your mind requires great personal power. Every time you break an agreement, you gain extra power. You start by breaking agreements that are very small and require less power. All those smaller agreements are broken. Your personal power, as those smaller agreements are broken, your personal power will increase until you reach a point where you can finally face the big demons in your mind. For example, the little girl who was told not to sing is now 20 years old and she still does not sing. One way she can overcome the belief that her voice is ugly is to say, okay, I will try to sing, even if I do sing badly.
Yes,
Then,
ma'am.
then she can pretend that someone is clapping and telling her, oh, that was beautiful. This may break the agreement a teeny bit, but it will still be there. However, now she has a little more power and courage to try again and again until she finally breaks the agreement. That's one way out of the dream of hell. But for every agreement you break that makes you suffer, you will need to replace it with a new agreement that makes you happy. This will keep the old agreement from coming back. If you occupy the same space with the new agreement, then the old agreement is gone forever, and in its place is the new agreement. There are many strong beliefs in the mind that can make this process look helpless. This is why you need to go step by step and be patient with yourself, because this is a slow process. The way you are living now is the result of many years of domestication. You cannot expect to break the domestication in one day. Breaking agreements is very difficult because we put the power of the word, which is the power of our will, into every agreement we have made. We need the same amount of power to change an agreement. We cannot change an agreement with less power than we use to make the agreement. And almost all of our personal power is invested in keeping the agreements we have with ourselves. That's because our agreements are actually like a strong addiction. We are addicted to being the way we are. We are addicted to anger, jealousy, and
That's lame.
self-pity. We are addicted to the beliefs that tell us, I'm not good enough. I'm not intelligent enough. Why even try? Other people will do it because they're better than me. All of these old agreements which rule our dream of life are the result of repeating them over and over again. Therefore, to adopt the 4 agreements, you need to put repetition in action. Practicing the new agreements in your life is how your best becomes better. Repetition makes the master.
Makes the master.
Mhm. So that's very much like what Steve was saying in your video there, where we're all
Exactly what I'm talking about. And sometimes we feel like, oh, why? I'm not addicted to being angry. I'm not addicted to being unhappy. It's like, well, everything you do in life sets you up for being unhappy and being sad and being angry. So you have to ask yourself, if anybody's responsible for your own misery, it's you. It's not anybody else. Not another human being. Not another thing that goes on.
Yep. Practice and then
I'm sorry.
baby steps.
Yeah.
Practice. And then
Yeah, man.
I love saying this, do the next right thing, and start small, and then you can break those wrong programming. It's just, make sure you just start small and don't have a big expectation you're going to change overnight, because you're not, like it says.
That's part of what I was going to mention as well too. Exactly right.
And just do the next right thing, and you're on your way there.
Good call, man.
Love the Bill Murray reference.
I told HP about that movie. I don't know if he's watched it yet, but what a great movie.
No, I haven't, man.
What about Bob?
Yeah. Poor Bob.
Yeah.
Poor Bob.
We're about to go camping tomorrow, so maybe we'll download it. We can all watch it together. So
there you go.
Yeah. I got a couple things here. The difference is that you're no longer innocent. Whenever you were a child, this was not true. You didn't have a choice, but you're no longer a child. Now it's up to you to choose what you believe and what not to believe. This is what I was just talking about. Yep. You could choose to believe in anything. That includes believing in yourself. I always talk about this. This is one of my favorite sayings because it's so true, and it's true for every single human being, regardless of how old you are. It's like you have to learn how to grow up because no one can do it for you. That means, obviously, physically, but more emotionally too. Like the way you grow up in life, the way you mature, the way you handle situations, it constantly changes more and more every single day. And you have to be the one to make that decision. Paul says here, ego is socially conditioned image, a persistent hallucination. Yes, sir. And there's only 2 certainties in life, is that my reality and your reality is totally different. That's the only commonality that we have.
Thought that the 2 unconditional things in life were death and taxes.
Right, but they don't share.
Benjamin Franklin, I think. I don't know who said that.
Yes, sir. Right. Yeah, but they don't share anything in common. But what we do share in common is that we both have thoughts, but those thoughts are not the same, for sure.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely right.
It says the Toltecs here called it the art of transformation, and it's a whole mastery. So it kind of speaks to the idea, we talked a little bit about this in the Buddhist concept of the eightfold path, the noble, the 4 noble truths and the eightfold path, rather. So this is the concept of how to follow the path of enlightenment, very similar to the 4 agreements, very much relates and correlates into all that. So also here, she says that her voice, for example, a little girl who was told not to sing, 20 years later, she decides to sing. She's like, I'm just going to decide to do this. This is exactly what I was talking about whenever we did our all night live, whenever I was performing my music. It's like part of the, excitement that makes you feel the joy of doing this thing. Is like, you know what? I've always been programmed not to do. I'm just going to fight against that and see how their reaction is. And it can take a lot of courage to be able to do that. And then Derek finished my last point that I wanted to make about how it takes time. It's not just going to happen overnight. Nothing changes, but you have to slowly start to make that change every single day. Catch yourself and be like, I just was impeccable with my word for a second. So let me see if I can try to correct that.
You have to want it.
100%.
You have to know what you want with the intent. Yeah.
Yep, 100%. And then that's where they finish out at the end right here. We need the same amount of power to change an agreement. We cannot change an agreement with less power than we used to make an agreement. And almost all of our personal power is invested in keeping the agreements we have with ourselves. And that's because all our agreements are actually like a strong addiction. We are actually addicted to the way we are. We're addicted to the anger or the jealousy, the self pity, the happiness, whatever you are in life, whatever you feel is something that you're chasing, you're craving in your heart and your soul. Because, it's just like the same concept of, if you have anxiety or depression, it could be a bad thing if you decide to look at it that way. If you decide to not look at it as like a learning tool, because that's what they mentioned here at the end. I'm not going to go back, but at the end of the paragraph we were just reading, that these things are opportunities. No matter what happens to you, opportunities for you to learn.
This section basically had 3 steps. First step, identify your problem. Step 2, well, agreement. It's your problem is an agreement. Step 2, replace it with a better one. Step 3, practice.
Yes, sir. Well said.
So that's just one of the ways, one of the 3 ways that they're outlining here. The next one is called the discipline of the warrior, controlling your own behavior. And then the third one's going to be the initiation of the dead, which is where we're talking about the ego stuff, embracing
Cool.
the angel of death. All right, so next section here starts at page 111.
111.
Very top of the page. The discipline of the warrior, controlling your own behavior. Imagine that you awake early one morning, overflowing with enthusiasm for the day. You feel good, you're happy, and you have plenty of energy to face the day. Then, at breakfast, you have a big fight with your spouse, and a flood of emotion comes out. You get mad, and in the emotion of anger, you spend a lot of personal power. After the fight, you feel drained, and you just want to go and cry. In fact, you feel so tired that you go to your room, collapse, and try to recover. You spend the day wrapped up in your emotions, you have no energy to keep going, and you just want to walk away from everything. Every day we awake with a certain amount of mental, emotional, and physical energy that we spend throughout the day. If we allow our emotions to deplete our energy, we have no energy to change our lives or to give to others. The way you see the world will depend upon the emotions you are feeling. When you are angry, everything around you is wrong. Nothing is right. You blame everything, including the weather. Whether it's raining or the sun is shining, nothing pleases you. When you are sad, everything around you is sad, makes you cry. When you see the trees and you feel sad, and you see the rain and everything looks so sad. Perhaps you feel vulnerable and have a need to protect yourself because you don't know in what moment someone will attack you. You do not trust anything or anyone around you. This is because you see the world with the eyes of fear. Imagine that the human mind is the same as your skin. You can touch healthy skin and it feels wonderful. Your skin is made for perception, and the sensation of touch is wonderful. Now imagine you have an injury and the skin gets cut and infected. If you touch the infected skin, it's going to hurt. So you try to cover and protect the skin. You will not enjoy being touched because it hurts. Now imagine that all humans have this skin disease. Nobody can touch each other because it is going to hurt. Everyone has wounds on their skin, so the infection is seen as normal. The pain is also considered normal. We believe we are supposed to be that way. Can you imagine how we would behave with each other if all the humans in the world had this skin disease? Of course, we would hardly ever hug each other because it would be so painful. So we would need to create a lot of distance between us. The human mind is exactly like this description of infected skin. Every human has an emotional body, completely covered with infected wounds. Each wound is infected with emotional poison, the poison of all the emotions that make us suffer, such as hate, anger, envy, and sadness. An action of injustice opens a wound in the mind, and we react with emotional poison because of the concepts and beliefs we have about injustices and what is fair. The mind is so wounded and full of poison by the process of domestication that everyone describes the wounded mind as normal. This is considered normal, but I can tell you, it is not normal. We have a dysfunctional dream of the planet, and humans are mentally sick with a disease called fear. The symptoms of the disease are all the emotions that make humans suffer: anger, hate, sadness, envy, and betrayal. When the fear is too great, the reasoning mind begins to fail, and we call this mental illness. Psychotic behavior occurs when the mind is so frightened and the wounds so painful that it seems better to break contact with the outside world. If we can see our state of mind as a disease, we find there is a cure. We don't have to suffer any longer. First, we need the truth to open the emotional wounds, take the poison out, and heal the wounds completely. How do we do this? We must forgive those who we feel have wronged us, not because they deserve to be forgiven, but because we love ourselves so much, we don't want to keep praying for the injustice. We don't want to keep paying for the injustice. Forgiveness is the only way to heal. We can choose to forgive because we feel compassion for ourselves. We can let go of the resentment and declare, "That's enough. I will no longer be the big judge that goes against myself. I will no longer beat myself up and abuse myself. I will no longer be the victim." First, we need to forgive our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and God. Once you forgive God, you can finally forgive yourself. Once you forgive yourself, the self-rejection in your mind is over. Self-acceptance begins, and the self-love will grow so strong that you will finally accept yourself just the way you are. That's the beginning of the free human. Forgiveness is the key. You will know you have forgiven someone when you see them and you no longer have an emotional reaction. You will hear the name of the person and you will have no emotional reaction. When someone can touch what used to be a wound and it no longer hurts you, then you know you have truly forgiven. The truth is like a scalpel. The truth is painful because it opens all of the wounds which are covered by lies, and that can be healed. These lies are what we call the denial system. It's a good thing we have the denial system because it allows us to cover our wounds and still function. But once we no longer have any wounds or any poison, we don't need to lie anymore. We don't need the denial system because a healthy mind, like healthy skin, can be touched without hurting. It's pleasurable for the mind to be touched when it's clean. The problem with most people is that they lose control of their emotions. It is the emotions that control the behavior of the human, not the human who controls the emotions. When we lose control, we say things that we don't want to say and do things that we don't want to do. That is why it is so important to be impeccable with our word and to become a spiritual warrior. We must learn to control the emotions so we have enough personal power to change our fear-based agreements, escape from hell, and create our own personal heaven. How are we to become a warrior? There are certain characteristics of the warrior that are nearly the same around the world. The warrior has awareness. That's very important. We are aware that we are at war. And the war in our minds requires discipline. Not the discipline of a soldier, but the discipline of a warrior. Not the discipline from the outside to tell us what to do and what not to do, but the discipline to be ourselves, no matter what. The warrior has control, not control over another human, but control over one's own emotions, control over one's own self. It is when we lose control that we repress the emotions, not when we are in control. The big difference between a warrior and a victim is that the victim represses and the warrior refrains. Victims repress because they are afraid to show the emotion, afraid to say what they want to say. To refrain is not the same thing as repression. To refrain is to hold the emotions and to express them in the right moment, not before, not later. That is why warriors are impeccable. They have complete control over their own emotions, and therefore over their own behavior. And that's it for that little section. So warriors, you just got to act like a warrior. Be brave.
Bhagavad Gita, my man. Bhagavad Gita.
Stop insisting on reacting emotionally to everything. That's what that basically comes down to. I see that a lot in people in my life too. They just insist on reacting to everything. I'm like, why do you need to react to that? That was not necessary. Just
It's not
leave it
worth
alone.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that halt. If you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, halt. Don't do anything because that's that reaction that's not going to be good most times.
Mm-hmm.
So hungry, angry, lonely, tired spells out halt. So don't do nothing. You don't react.
I like that.
I'm gonna read that second paragraph again real fast.
Yeah.
You spend the day wrapped up in your emotions. You have no energy to keep going. You just want to walk away from everything. And every day we have be awake with a certain amount of emotional, mental, and physical energy that we use to spread throughout the day. And if we allow our emotions to deplete our energy, we have no energy to change our lives and to give to others. The way you see the world will depend upon the emotions you are feeling. Whenever you're angry, everything around you is wrong. Nothing is right. You blame everything, including the weather it's raining outside, whether it's raining outside or the sun is shining, nothing pleases you. And whenever you are sad, everything around you makes you sad, makes you cry. You see the trees and you feel sad. You see the rain. We talked about this a little bit with the idea of being able to listen to music and you hear a sad song. Whenever you're sad, it brings out that sadness in it. And it finishes here by saying, perhaps you feel vulnerable and you have no need to protect yourself, or you have a need to protect yourself because you don't know what moment someone will attack you. You don't know who you can trust. And this is because you see the world through the eyes of fear. And what it breaks down to is fears are false beliefs. Yeah. Anytime we ever have a fear about anything, it's just because we have a belief that it's false in our heads. So it's the reason why we go outside and we think that if we see a bear, that we will die, we're going to be attacked by it, which is high likability, right? But it keeps in mind for us to practice our fifth agreement, be skeptical and learn. So if we do have a fear about that, how do we figure out how we can better adapt ourselves to a situation like that? Especially whenever it's our own selves, we're way more predictable than a bear.
Oh, yeah.
So if I know how I'm going to go into a situation, how I'm going to react, I know, just like I said in the book, maybe I need to wait and say this at a later date, because if I say it right now, it might come off a little bit of a, I don't really even know the word, but it will come off to where people can't really get the lesson. They can't get the message because it's like lost in translation, what you're trying to say.
Some people are just so stuck on their beliefs that they just can't let it
Their
go.
programming.
And
Yeah.
also some people have had past experiences where they've just cemented it so bad that it's going to take that much
Right.
more work to get out of it.
And then the third thing is some people are happy with who they are.
Yeah.
They're not happy, but they are happy with not being happy. They're just fine being the person that they are.
Yeah.
Reaching the agreements. Yeah. No, that's why I always say nothing changes when changes. You have to be able to change one shit. That's why I think you thought you made a great point, Derek. That's the point that I wanted to finish. But it's like you have to, it's slow. It's like steering a ship. It's not just going to happen overnight. It takes years to change who you are as a person, to totally become somebody different.
Forgiveness is a big part too. Forgiving people, like,
Yep, 100%.
at points in our lives, there's been plenty of people in the past that have done us wrong, and we've done other people wrong too, I'm sure. But to think of someone like that upset me before, and now I think, like, I hope they're doing well.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the only emotion they're getting out of me is I hope they're doing well.
I'm
I
glad
don't-
they're not in my life, but I hope they're doing well.
Yeah, exactly. I
Um,
don't want to invite them back in my life, but I
Right.
hope they're out there doing well.
It's an emotional maturity.
They're
It's
not
hard for a
doing,
lot of people to accept that and do that.
you know.
Yep.
Yeah. This brings back a lot of memories of people
Yeah,
in my past.
people that, I don't necessarily, because I think that trust is just like you mentioned, it's like a cup that you fill up, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because I don't have resentment and I have forgive these people doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily hold them in my heart and my head the same way that I hold the people that are close to me. But
Right.
that doesn't mean I'm going to have resentment, and it doesn't mean I haven't chosen forgiveness for this person about what they did and how they act.
I have love for them, but I don't have trust for them. Trust is earned,
Respect.
just like respect. Trust and respect
Yes.
are very similar.
Be very mutual.
But-
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that jar of marbles that Brene Brown talks about.
definitely, man.
Just you got to fill that jar one by one, and you only trust people with a jar full of marbles, and you can't trust people immediately. They have to earn it.
And that doesn't mean you can't forgive them at the
no,
end of
no,
it all.
absolutely. Just because I forgive them doesn't mean I can let them back in either. Like it's just that I'm not going to let myself suffer over that sort of vitriol and hatred in my heart anymore. I have to let that
Correct.
hate go, let it out. Otherwise, you're making yourself suffer over other
Ruminating.
people's bad behavior.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's the rumination you talked about. You're stuck in that cycle of being in the dryer and you can't get out. You're just tumbling around, looping and looping.
So let's read this next section, the one that everyone is waiting for.
One more time on that page. You said on
Sounds
both
very
ends.
similar to the ego death. But honestly,
Right,
I think this is what really, really helped me. It's one of the fastest ways, and I think mushrooms helped me get there too. Just this perspective. I've had this
Agreed.
perspective a lot of my life.
Agreed.
The initiation
On
of the dead.
118.
118. Yep, very top. The initiation of the dead, embracing the angel of death. The final way to attain personal freedom is to prepare ourselves for the initiation of the dead. To take death itself as our teacher. What the angel of death can teach us is how to be truly alive. We become aware that we can die at any moment. We have just the present to be alive. The truth is that we don't know if we're going to die tomorrow. Who knows? We have the idea that we may have many years in the future, but do we? If we go to the hospital and the doctor tells us that we have 1 week to live, what are we going to do? As we have said before, we have two choices. One is to suffer because we're going to die, and to tell everybody, poor me, I'm going to die, and really create a huge drama. The other choice is to use every moment to be happy, to do what we really enjoy doing. If we only have 1 week to live, let's enjoy life. Let's be alive. We can say, I'm going to be myself. No longer am I going to run my life trying to please other people. No longer am I going to be afraid of what they think about me. What do I care what others think if I'm going to die in 1 week? I'm going to be myself. The angel of death can teach us to live every day as if it's the last day of our lives, as if there may be no tomorrow. We can begin each day by saying, I am awake. I see the sun. I'm going to give my gratitude to the sun and to everything and everyone because I am still alive. One more day to be myself. And that is the way I see life. That is the way the angel of death taught me, to be completely open, to know that there is nothing to be afraid of. And of course, I treat people I love with love because this may be the last day that I can tell you how much I love you. I don't know if I'm going to see you again, so I don't want to fight with you. What if I had a big fight with you and I told you all those emotional poisons and I have against you and you die tomorrow? Whoops. Oh my God, the judge would get me so bad and I would feel so guilty for everything that I told you. I would even feel guilty for not telling you how much I love you. The love that makes me happy is the love that I can share with you. Why do I need to deny that I love you? It is not important if you love me back. I may die tomorrow, or you may die tomorrow. What makes me happy now is to let you know how much I love you. You can live your life this way. By doing so, you prepare yourself for the initiation of death. What is going to happen in the initiation of death is that the old dream that you have in your mind is going to die forever. Yes, you are going to have memories of the parasite, of the judge, the victim, and what you used to believe. But the parasite will be dead. That is what is going to die in the initiation of death, the parasite. It is not easy to go for the initiation of death because the judge and the victim will fight with everything they have. They don't want to die, and we feel that we are the ones who are going to die, and we are afraid of this death. When we live in the dream of the planet, it is as if we are dead. Whoever survives the initiation of the dead receives the most wonderful gift, the resurrection. To receive the resurrection is to arise from the dead, to be alive, to be ourselves again. The resurrection is to be like a child, to be wild and free, but with a difference. The difference is that we have freedom with wisdom instead of innocence. We are able to break our domestication, become free again, and heal our mind. We surrender to the angel of death, knowing that the parasite will die, and we will still be alive with a healthy mind and perfect reason. Then we are free to use our own mind and run our own life. That is what, in the Toltec way, the angel of death teaches us. The angel of death comes to us and says, "You see, everything that exists here is mine. It's not yours. Your house, your spouse, your children, your car, your career, your money, everything is mine, and I can take it away when I want to. But for now, you can use it." If we surrender to the angel of death, we will be happy forever and ever. Why? Because the angel of death takes the past away in order to make it possible for life to continue. For every moment that is past, the angel of death keeps taking the part that is dead, and we keep living in the present. The parasite wants us to carry the past with us, and that makes it so heavy to be alive. When we try to live in the past, how can we enjoy the present? When we dream of the future, why must we carry the burden of the past? When we are going to live in the present, that is what the angel of death teaches us to do.
I heard take 5 grams of mushrooms in a dark, quiet room.
Or near-death experience while you're young. Or
Yeah, of course, right. Or somebody dying near you, a family loved one. Yeah.
I was
A dog.
I was pretty sick before, and I remember I was laying in my bed in the other room there, and out of nowhere I heard harp music, and it was like as clear as it playing in the room with me. And I don't even listen to that music. I don't like that music, but it was just like it was so comforting. It just came over me. It just felt like wow, like just it just totally made me feel relaxed, and like um there I believe there is an angel of death, like when we die, that will bring us to the other side or whatever, and I think that made me feel comfortable with mortality, and facing death. um it just it it kind of, after that, it kind of made me think, like, really really believe, tomorrow isn't promised, and to not try not to miss an opportunity to tell those that you love them, you know
Yeah.
and that's like every morning at tea, I say, I love y'all, see you tomorrow, whatever. And it's
This
because,
reminds
like,
me.
that was one of the last things I was going to say to someone, or it's I love you, you know what I mean?
I wrote this 2 Fridays ago. I'm going to read it in a moment. It's very appropriate for what we're talking about.
Awesome.
But before I get to that, I would like to point out that there's a section here that I was talking about how the angel of death comes to us and says, "You see, everything that exists here is mine. It's not yours. Your house, your spouse, your children, your car, your career,
Exactly.
your money, everything is mine, and I can take it away when I want to. But for now, you can use it." What that's describing is enjoying life without being attached. It's your attachments that make you miserable. And that's the whole premise of that other book that I have over here called The Way to Love. It's about enjoying the things you have without being attached to it. And that's what death teaches us in the 4 agreements. Is it's all temporary.
Yeah.
It can all just it can break tomorrow for all you know.
Yep, 100%.
And that's all we got for the 4 agreements today.
That
But
is a great question, though. I mean, if you knew you had 7 days, what would you do? What we do to HP?
Well, that's what I was gonna mention, man. You know that most people, I don't know if most people, but you gotta imagine it's like somewhere 50% of the line that people that die, they know they're gonna die. Just like you just said, they're like laying there sick or like, I'm dying, man. Like I'm gonna die. And they feel it in their heart and their soul. And then yeah, there's a big huge portion of people who die instantly by getting into a car accident, a plane wreck, or dying in their sleep, right? These are different forms of the way people die, but there's a lot of people who know they're going to die. They're very conscious of how they die. So if I knew I only had 24 hours, I really wouldn't try to do anything too differently because I'm like, I don't think about death constantly, but I think about it often enough to where if that thought alone hasn't fueled me, then the thing itself isn't going to do it because I'm someone who suffers with anxiety. So that's part of what anxiety is, right? Fearing about like, you're trying to just drive down the road and you're like, oh, dang, what if I freaking get in a car crash and die right now? So your brain starts to play these tricks on you. It's part of what it does. And that's when you start to think about it a lot. Like, what would I do? And I was just thinking about it this morning because of what Pops was saying on his show. I don't think I'd do much of anything differently, man. I think I would just live my life how I live it. I try to just go outside and get fresh air and really look around and be like, wow, it's a fucking beautiful day to be alive.
Yeah, it is.
I suffer with death a lot. I've struggled with this my whole life since I was young, and it's gotten better because of what you were saying. I learned that through psychedelic experiences taught me, just gave me my spirituality. Where before I didn't even know what spirituality was or where to look or how to find it. It literally gave it to me. So it's been the biggest thing that's helped me personally. And then obviously, having friends and family and a good structure of life to live by has been a great help. But the thing that because even my friends look at me in the face and be like, yeah, it's all going to be good. We'll be fine after we die. It's like, that doesn't help me. It doesn't reassure me. But going to that place of oneness and love and compassion and everything, when you have a psychedelic experience, that teaches me a lot about how I'm going to die and how I'm going to feel when I die. It's not going to be like terrifying and scary. I mean, it might be during your death. It might just be horrifying and terrifying. Like it might be part of your experience as a human being. But once you die, it's not going to be terrible. It's just like going to be like before you were born. It's going to be the same exact feeling.
So I didn't know. Go ahead.
Sorry, one more comment. I think what Graham Hancock talks about how we're a species with amnesia is very true. And not just in the sense of like we forgot where our past comes from, but I think that we've forgotten where we come from as a past like soul being. Like we're not supposed to remember being put into a human body on planet Earth to be able to get this experience. I think it's part of like the built-in safety mechanism. What was your comment, Mary?
Oh, not much. I just want to bring up the thing I wrote. My daughter did that.
Oh, cool.
Those pictures, by the way.
Yeah, definitely.
I have them floating around over for something. So I ended up scanning them. So it's like, this is like a little handout that I made. It's like a little open letter to people that come to my events that I started handing out these last couple events. But like she did them in color pencil, and man. So if you know what they are, this is the parrot wax cap. This one is a amethyst deceiver, and this one is a wrinkled peach. You can see the wrinkles. Yeah. So she's trying, and she got a lot of attention for those mushroom pictures.
Very cool.
Really motivated, and that made me happy.
Awesome. It's very cool.
But yeah. So I also used it on my little open letter. So it starts out. It pretty much sums up with what we just read. Almost all three of those sections, kind of in a way. But I'm not in a race. In the long run, my goal is to do no harm, leave things better than how I found it, and I want to help as many good-intentioned people as I can without "what am I getting out of it" attached. If you need my help, I'll do my best to do so as long as it fits within my skills, values, and available time. Because I love you unconditionally. Don't ever forget, this isn't about me or you. This is about making a real difference that has a direct impact on the people that need the most help. This is not for us to get attention or about how our charitable deeds make us look. Do no harm. If I've ever genuinely been the direct cause of your suffering, or if you think I owe you anything at all, please let me know, and I will do whatever I can to help remedy it. You have my respect and unconditional love. Nerdy.
That was really awesome.
But it really sums up what I really, really believe, and it was really summed up in that last section of that last chapter we just read.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that there is one more chapter that we'll read next Friday, but I think we got enough in today.
Sweet.
It's a short chapter, so we'll get through it in one day.
We're literally just coming up on 1 hour exactly right now. Can wrap it up here in just a few minutes. Or get through the chat, get everybody's questions and comments answered.
Yes, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and start shooting them at us.
Anything, reach out to us. Links in this the bio on YouTube.
Yeah, if you have a question, I'll hold up on the screen even.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining and being here.
Thank you guys so much.
I think
Yeah, I'm going to camping tomorrow, so we're gonna put Riffin off until Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
Yep, I'm gonna leave out tomorrow morning and be gone all day long, and I had no signal probably, so
I'm just scrolling up through there.
or I would do it out where I'm going, but I was just probably won't I'll be like
Somewhere near Red Feather, probably.
off the solar grid, but yeah.
But yeah, I really do mean that though. If anybody genuinely needs help, and I'm there. I just don't have money. But I can do a lot of things, and I'm very creative with how I find solutions.
Pubs are beautiful.
Just because you have a problem doesn't mean I can solve it. There's a lot of problems I can't solve.
Mike told me to smile. So boy, if I had $1 for every time somebody told me that. Smile,
Yeah.
man. You
Yeah.
just can't smile. Smiling on the inside, okay?
Yeah. And Sam,
Solid reading,
how's
Henry.
it going, Sam? Glad you're
Cheers,
here.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid reading tonight. Good. Glad. It's a good. Like, that's the.
I
This
think he
is the
usually
part.
hangs out whenever he's at work.
I think this is the part of the 4 agreements that everybody skips over. They're like, okay, the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word, and don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. Okay, I got it. But no, this is how you actually do it.
And not only that, we haven't even gotten to the 5th agreement yet. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we have, obviously. We've been talking a lot about it, but yeah, of course.
I think most of the 5th agreement book is just going back over the 4 agreements and then adding the context of the 5th one to it.
Correct. I would agree completely.
But if anyone wants to get a head start on that, you can watch it on YouTube. If someone is reading it. No, Milky Way, all caramel. Dude, that's good stuff right there.
It's pretty good.
I like the
Incredible
all
piece of
caramel
wood.
ones. I'm not a fan of nougat. I know.
The nougat, I think, is good.
No, back up.
We need an all nougat bar, really. Get rid of the caramel and just do the nougat. Well, I guess they have that. It's Three Musketeers, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it Three Musketeers all nougat?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's like a
Yeah, that's the sad thing about chocolate bars. Like all the combinations you could think of, it's already been done before. And it's funny because the other ones we have are the Oreo Reese's, but now they're half white chocolate and half dark chocolate.
My enjoyment today is Calipico. It is
Coconut milk?
No, it's citrusy. Has milk and soy in it. But it's like basically like a Asian, I think Japanese. Is it made in Japan? Let's see where it was made. Yeah, I bought this at the Japanese store. They only sell Japanese stuff there. This is made in Japan.
It's silly game.
But yeah, so I first saw this beverage on a movie called Tokyo Zombie. What a funny movie. Oh my God. If you've never seen this movie, it's hard to find, but it's called Tokyo Zombie. Such a funny, stupid, ridiculous, comedic movie about zombies, and it takes place in Tokyo. But Calipico is featured in the movie. It's kind of like a recurring joke in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Calipico. Don't drink it too fast.
We're gonna maybe watch the Avatar movie, but usually the Avatar movies are like 3 hours long.
So Monday, how do you guys feel? I remember mentioning it before, but I said I would like to watch Pom Poko. It's that Studio Ghibli movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could watch Spirited Away. I'm realizing there's so much hidden messaging in that movie of Spirited Away, it seems like it would be a good watch for us.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
good.
But
Yeah.
either
Good to
way,
me. Yeah, right. I mean, if we whatever we don't do this week, we can put it to next week.
have you seen either of those, Derek?
I have not.
Neither of them?
No, but Spirited Away does sound familiar. I might have seen the trailer or something, or I don't know if it's a new movie or.
It's old. It's an old anime. Most people, when they think of Studio Ghibli, that's the movie they think of. And most people have never heard of Pompoko. But it's got a big old Disney logo in the front of it, so that's kind of makes me giggle a little bit because it does not seem like a Disney movie to me at all.
I mean, this movie is no kidding, 3 hours and 12 minutes long. That's crazy.
Which one?
So yeah, we might put that off. Avatar: The Way of the Water. It's the second one. We already watched the first one a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I might put that off. Kind of late, and I gotta be up early to do this camping crap. So we'll see. 3.5 hours is like that's a commitment. Okay, I can take mushrooms and head trip the whole time during the fucking.
Studio Ghibli movies tend to be pretty long.
Yeah, for real. That'd be a fucking big, huge one, dude. You had to be a part 2 shit.
So
What are you saying to me?
there's going to be one more Avatar, I think. There's going to be a fourth one.
Yep, and the third one's already came out, and yeah.
Yeah, I just watched the third
First
one.
one's really good, man.
There were some.
That's what my buddy I was watching it with. I was like, dude, this shit's gonna change your life, and he's like, nah, stop talking about since we watched it. I'm like, yeah, I told you, man. Really makes you look at the world differently.
The thing about
Wait,
the
should
third
be.
one that I really appreciated was they hid some biblical references in it. It's like just like I think the first couple of days,
A lot of
there's
Indian,
a lot of
Native
similarities
American
with
culture.
Jesus and some of the stuff in the movies, like with the tree and
correct.
things like that. But it's hard to pick up on because it's like there's all those layers of
Yeah, it's
hidden
like Gaia,
messaging.
Mother Earth. Correct.
Right.
I gotta watch a movie without my phone in my hand. That's my problem. I miss so much because of.
You keep
Distract.
picking it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty good at like getting lost in it.
Yeah.
Which one's a beautiful movie, David? I'm guessing you're saying Spirited Away.
Avatar. He's the homie I was talking about. I was watching that movie with.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing the evolution of the characters throughout the movies too.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, those movies are definitely I don't know. They're good.
Well, that's
They're good
I mean, that's the
visuals
kind of
and
stuff I was
everything.
talking about with the Bhagavad Gita. That's a perfect example. Like you're out there, you're living a peaceful life. It's all about living off the land and nature, being love and compassion, and treating the things you kill with respect. But then somebody comes in and tries to infiltrate your land, and like, what do you do? And who's the heroes of the land who are willing to protect what we have, and what are they willing to do it to keep us safe? It's crazy because there's always going to be instances like that. Sorry, Derek. Go ahead. I cut you off.
That sounds like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, it does, man. Because it's the world we really live in. It's the world we really live in, dude. There are people out there that are sick and hungry and willing to do anything to get it. And you have to be willing to protect yourself. And you have to be willing to do anything as well.
Have you seen the first Avatar, Derek?
I did years ago. Yeah.
So yeah, I've never seen any of the other ones after that.
Okay.
I know when it changed my life when I saw the first one for the first time.
Yeah, each movie they introduce a new tribe.
Okay, sweet.
So
Cool.
the second one they introduced the water tribe, and the third one they introduced the fire tribe.
Okay,
tribe.
makes sense
Guys.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
The fire tribe starts working with the humans to try to conquer the other guys. You know.
Cool.
It's good. It's good.
It's very Native American. You're telling us very Indian culture.
1992 ADHD Mother. Studio Ghibli movies are amazing, and there's over 100 of them. Seen more than half of them. There's over 100 Studio Ghibli movies?
Who said that?
I can't imagine there's that many. I know there's a lot that weren't done by the original artist because he's passed away, but they've kept their studio going. So maybe there are a lot more than I know there is.
Cool.
Kinda
Cheers.
Kind of like Toho. There's like hundreds of Toho movies.
Correct.
Kaiju
100%.
and stuff. Yeah. The Studio Ghibli. Princess Mononoke is another really, really, really good one. Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Pom Poko.
Here's my-
I think those are my top three. My number one most favorite is Pom Poko. But most people have never heard of it.
Yep, I have heard of it. One of my friends, growing up, I used to do LSD with whenever I was younger. His girlfriend was really super into all the Studio Ghibli movies and stuff like that. So
My Neighbor
Yeah.
Totoro. Nobody's heard of that one.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to see it.
You've seen the character. Everybody's seen
Maybe.
the character. It's
Big fluffy
the-
guy. It's like a bear or
Yeah,
rabbit or something.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like everybody's seen this guy.
It's like a bunny or something, I think. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, another good one was Secret Life of Arrietty. Derek, you remember when we were kids? There was a movie that came out with John Goodman, and it was called The Borrowers. Little people living in the floorboards.
I don't remember
Never
that.
seen this movie?
I've
And
heard of
John
this
Goodman in
concept.
it. Yeah,
I know John Goodman. I don't remember the movie though.
but they're called the borrowers because they're little people and they live in the walls and they will go and borrow stuff from your kitchen and stuff like that so they can survive.
I need this piece of toast.
Yeah, so I just need a thumbtack, and they make all these cool stuff. Anyway, it was a Studio Ghibli movie about the borrowers, and it was so good. I watched it with my daughter. 'cause
So that's
everything
where
goes
my
to the girl.
stuff's been going my whole life. It's not
I love
ADHD
that
or ADD.
Yeah, exactly. It's the borrowers. They're taking your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they say they're borrowing it, but they never bring it back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a good show tonight, guys. I appreciate
Good
it.
show. Well, I like how we got that far into it, and we'll finish that other chapter up next Friday, and then that'll wrap up the 4 agreements for us, and then we'll be moving on to the 5th agreement book after that, and then we are getting pretty close to halfway in our Way Back Wednesday series as well too. So
Yeah. That's
moving
going to be
right
going
on
for.
along.
We have at least 2 years of content for that.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at it the other day. We're about 4 months into doing this podcast,
Mhm.
so give or take.
Yeah.
So we've been doing it for a little while already, getting moving right along. It's been great.
It gets
It's
easier.
been nice to see the group of people that we've had built up. Oh yeah, 100%. I still get excited to do it though. Still get the same kind of enjoyment. It's like that thing we were talking about earlier, out down your passions.
Yeah,
That's
being
what
the
we should be
change
doing
that we
for
want to see in the
Carmenota.
world. That's the way I see it.
100%. Thank you guys so much for being here, and y'all are a great group of people. Y'all are practicing doing y'all's thing, and we'll see you guys Monday for our next show. Thanks. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Love y'all.